presenter at NISCA. I've always had so much about NISCA. I didn't think my drill sergeant voice would require a microphone, but I'm sorry. Appreciate that. It's a real honor to come and speak and be a presenter at NISCA. I have such a big thing in my heart for NISCA. I think the first time I attended one was back before they had, wheels on the wagons, and it was a long time ago. It is my honor today to introduce a person that I have known since I started coaching. That'll tell you. Notice the hair is a little bit, kind of white. I met Steve McDonald when I started coaching swimming in Pasadena. Steve was going to another high school, and he swam against me. And then when I started the Bayshore Swim Club, Steve joined and became one of my first members. And so I feel like he's part of my family. So it gives me a great honor to stand here today and talk to you about Steve. You call him Coach Mac. I gave nicknames to everybody who I coached, and he was Stevie Mac to me, and that's the way he'll always be. He was so smart, he's always in trouble. Yeah, the smart ones are the ones you have to watch real close, because they're usually way ahead of you thinking. Steve was that way. He's always the one who first one to get there, the last one to leave, made sure everybody else did their job, made sure they put their kickboards away, and they showed up on time for the right things. So it was very obvious he was going to be a coach. And he went to Rice University. So there's your second clue that he was a whole lot smarter than me, because I went to a small public institution of higher learning in Texas. So as I look back on Steve's career, it gives me great honor to introduce to you a person who considers his family first and his God second and swimming third. So let me introduce to you Steve McDonald. Let me give you the biggest part of this. And your plaque.
Thank you.
And I'll put it back here.
Sitting back there and not certain how you were supposed to get up here, and I watched Coach Montgomery go out and come on here. So I went out, but I got to tell you, it was difficult to come back in here. Okay, on the names, I know you call him Dr. Montgomery or Steve, but he can't ever be anything other than Coach for me. I think the same is true for those kids that used to swim for me and are now coaching, because I don't know of a greater honorific than Coach. And that's what I'm here to tell you about today, is who's got the best job. It's in the program, your one-loss record. Coach Montgomery said they're going to need your one-loss record, so I had to go look it up. Because as coaches, there are a lot of coaches that are judged by their one-loss record. I got in an argument with our high school football coach at Houston Lamar. Tommy Nolan is a legend, not only at Lamar, but throughout Texas. He's won a lot of football games, and he and I had an argument as to which one of us had the best job. I said, Tommy, I got a better job than you. He goes, how you, what did he say? I can't say that. He said, how you figure that? I said, do you know what my one-loss record is? And he said, nope. I go, neither does anybody else. Now, if you've ever coached football in Texas, you understand what a 2-8 administrator is. Coach Montgomery was nice because he knows First Liar hadn't got a chance. It's going to be my honor and my privilege to introduce him when he's inducted into the Texas Swimming and Diving Hall of Fame on April the 8th. That's a round of applause for that man. My mom and dad are here with us tonight, and that's because one of the many bosses that I have at the high school level, and if you think the only boss you've got at high school is your principal, you just haven't been coaching long enough till you figure out that the principal's secretary, the guy that assigns the buses, the head custodian, Those are the bosses you better be paying attention to. And luckily for me, one of mine is one of our guidance counselors who agreed to drive my mom and dad and my nephew 19 and a half hours through a monsoon in order to get here. That's my sister, Kelly. And walking the halls of the high school, you're often asked, how's it going? How you doing? And I've come to answering that, great. I got the best job on campus. You don't believe me? Just go ask Coach Nolan. But they ask, how do you figure you got the best job on campus? I said, well, you know, all across this country, there are men and women that are having to get up every morning and go to work. And I mean work. And we get to go to school and play. And I know that because if it is possible to have a work ethic while play, that man back there taught me everything I know. Thanks, Dad. My wife Barbara is sitting back there, and if you ask her a question about what's going on, she's going to feign that she doesn't know what's going on. Just as when the parents ask her how many minutes are in a quarter, what's the state qualifying time? We don't have state qualifying times. Ask her anything about swimming, and she'll act like she doesn't know what's going on. But she knows how the losses sting. She knows how the bureaucracy weighs on an already taxed coach's calendar. She knows how little is truly known as to the effort that is extended. And she knows the definition of the perfect coach's job: Catholic boys' orphanage. In other words, she knows me, and I love you very much. Now, we've got the best job. We got the best job here in this room working with swimmers. There's not a more dedicated group. There's not a more hard-working group on any campus, and it's not because of what they go through any one practice. I'll grant you a hard football practice in the heat or bouncing off the ice in hockey. There are things that are just as hard to do. But what our kids do, they do day after day after day after every damn day. And that's what makes them the best. So let me tell you what I've learned since I was a swimmer on the deck at Southmore Junior High, where I met Coach Montgomery. USRPT, Lanny had red hair when he told me, coach the 100-yard freestyle. You can step down and sprint the 50. You can reach the 200. You can flip over on your back and swim backstroke. You can use both arms and go butterfly. Breaststrokers are weird animals anyway. They were just born that way. And if I ever get a 500-yard freestyler, I might coach him a little bit differently. And that's the coaching philosophy I've used for 40 years. Won-loss records, Coach Montgomery taught me everybody's got the will to win on Saturday afternoon. You find that kid that hates to lose and shows up Monday morning, that's the one that's going to win. Later, Dana Abbott told me that no, computers are not going away. They're not a passing fad. And Ed Lust taught me that if you're going to have the school bus drive off and leave one of your kids behind, leave the very fastest kid you've got on the team. Maybe even the fastest kid in the nation. All those other kids are going to look at each other and go, oh my God, if he'll leave Anthony, he'll leave any one of us. And they'll never miss the bus again. So for 41 years, I've developed these friendships. I consider these men my friends, but I will never be so audacious as to consider myself as their peer. That I've still got work to do, so I'm going back Monday morning. Thank you very much.